Hello, dear friends. It takes a lot of abuse to make an intelligent species like ours to accept its own extinction without fighting back. Opinion piece. Digital activists. Still proof trust. Evil has no new ideas. Hold on a little longer. The veil has been torn. Unstoppable momentum. Current systemic collapse. Digital resistance at dawn. Reading between the lines. Secret of pyramids revealed. The emerald tablet of Thoth. Researchers for a better future. Let's start. A silent constellation of vigilant souls composed of human beings who walk the world with their eyes wide open and refuse to swallow the official narrative of the dark side without first examining it is how Guardian Daniel defines digital activists. This attitude is not chaos but correction. This is not panic but preparation. This is not destruction but restoration. They are the ones who discover that the numbers don't add up when the timeline event seems scripted, when the same patterns repeat themselves across decades like lines in an old play that everyone considers new. They don't shout from the rooftops, but connect the dots on a chalkboard that no one else can see yet. They sense the death pangs in the headlines the same way sailors read the clouds of an approaching storm. This capacity for forensic data analysis defines the critical boundary between cognitive freedom and media-induced sedation. The operational strategic design has positioned us as vigilant digital activists armed with information rather than shotguns, maintaining a line of defense whose existence most people are unaware of. You don't wait for orders but are in position, quietly exchanging information and trusting that those paying attention will know exactly what to do when the critical moment arrives. And somehow, despite all these grueling years, you manage to convey optimism, not blindly, but with an unwavering confidence that at first glance appears as darkness, and you decide that it is still worth preparing for the dawn. This combination of clear vision and good heart is rare in these times of widespread deception. The pattern you silently carry reflects the depth of this process. It is the kind of weight that doesn't get lost on every thread or turn into bitterness. Most people would have sunk under half of what you have endured in the past years, but you keep moving forward, digging and fighting for people who don't even know your name. This is not insignificant civil action. This is precisely the kind of resistance that the Allied protocols have always documented as the most vital asset. Collective consciousness has grown too large now. Too many eyes have learned to read between the lines. Too many hearts cannot forget what they have witnessed. The veil was torn long ago and is now being ripped apart in slow motion while pretending to maintain the old administrative shield. But that doesn't work. Every silent soul who held on to the faith when it would have been so much easier to get angry or walk away is the reason the dark side's control program is fracturing. Evil has long wreaked ugly and noisy havoc, but it has also grown tiresome, repeating the same worn-out tricks over and over again. Its new ideas exhausted, within the void of the current systemic collapse. Meanwhile, the number of human beings who remember increases every day. This is not vain illusion, but an unstoppable force, hanging there a little longer. The tragedies you experienced did not destroy you. They made you stronger. And when the full picture is finally revealed in real life, nations will need people who have already walked through their personal hell and still chosen the light on the other side. That is you, and that is your cycle. Reflections. The simulation we participated has rules. We are collectively experience the archetypical hero's journey. It seems we are at a point in the script where all is lost. Just like in a movie, the character dies or is in grave danger. The next step is resurrection. Like any great movie, our reality will have a happy ending. What good is having money to tell anyone to get lost if you never say screw you? Don't ask for permission or apologize. This is part of a critique of financial subservience with an attitude of independence. Rob Cunningham argues that the Clarity Act paves the way for a stable currency system in 200 nations and a transparent, decentralized financial architecture, with less dependence of international organizations and an asset-backed monetary policy. Transhumanism. Transhumanism is a transitional phase toward a post-human future, and to reach that scenario, the population has been subjected to a prolonged process of conditioning, manipulation, and dehumanization, according to Laura Aboli. The plan would have included the breakdown of the nuclear family, state indoctrination, the loss of spirituality, urban life isolated from nature, pollution, social media, economic crisis, wars, constant fear, and moral relativism. This environment would have weakened the population, making it more vulnerable. That plan has partially failed, although the current situation is a transitional phase still marked by confusion and tension. Some young people have suffered physical and mental damage as a result of this process, and the response lies in returning to reality. Emerald Tablet. Mr. Kitbull presents the famous Emerald Tablet of Thoth as a technical manual of the universe, not as mythology. It is a set of 12 tablets found in Mexico by Dr. Michael Dorrell in the 1920s, and is an ancient document linked to Thoth, the Atlantean priest king, and the figure associated with the founding of Egypt. The tablets speak again, and the 36,000-year silence has ended. The tablets are made of a substance created through alchemical transmutation. They are indestructible, resistant to all elements, and their atomic structure is fixed. They function as vibratory instruments that transmit knowledge directly to consciousness. They contain the 7 hermetic principles and explain that physical reality is a projection of the mind, as well as presenting methods for achieving mastery over death and traveling between dimensions. These tablets reveal the existence of a network of frequencies used by archons to keep souls trapped, and describe the halls of Amenti, linked to a fountain of youth hidden beneath Giza. This knowledge has been concealed by the elite and secret societies, while the public has only received a simplified version. He describes the halls of Amenti as a space-time fault beneath the Giza Plateau, where the planet's life force is concentrated. This is the true fountain of youth that the elite have sought. They don't want you to know that you are a child of light, with the power to rewrite the script of your own existence. However, the coalition has recently recovered the original tablets as part of the operation to reclaim the Hall of Records, and their contents are being used to stabilize Earth's energy during the current transition. The 7 hermetic principles are being reintroduced into the collective consciousness to replace the loss of the old system. We are moving from a world of accidental reality to a world of conscious creation. Levitation. Mr. Kitbull attributes the recovery of the pyramid secrets to Edward Leeds-Kalnin, creator of the Coral Castle in Florida, presenting his work as the result of ancient knowledge linked to monumental construction and the personal history of heartbreak. Leeds-Kalnin, a Latvian immigrant, single-handedly erected a stone structure using over 1,100 tons of coral rock after being rejected by his fiancée shortly before their wedding. This structure, located in Homestead, Florida, is associated with the use of simple tools, shrouded in mystery regarding the technique employed. He worked entirely alone, primarily at night, and never allowed anyone to witness him moving stones that weighed up to 30 tons each. The builder dedicated decades to working at night and without witnesses, intending to construct a space linked to his sentimental memory. Within this context, the Coral Castle is presented as a unique piece of popular history and as an example surrounded by interpretations of magnetism, levitation, and lost knowledge. When asked how he had achieved such a feat, he simply replied, "I have discovered the secrets of the pyramids, and I have discovered how the Egyptians and the ancient builders from Peru and Asia, with primitive tools, they lifted and placed stone blocks that weighed many tons." He didn't use cranes or heavy machinery. He used the power of magnetic resonance. Leeds-Kalnin's magnetic current theory was key to his work. He understood that the Earth is a giant magnet and that all matter is held together by magnetic forces. Using a device he called a perpetual motion stand and an array of tuned magnets, he managed to neutralize the gravity of the enormous coral blocks, making them as light as feathers. In essence, he disconnected the stones from the Earth's gravitational grid. This is the same anti-gravity technology that the global elite has suppressed for a century, to keep the world dependent on fossil fuels and heavy industry. Ed didn't invent anything new. He recovered the lost science of the Golden Age. Immediately after Ed's death in 1951, his laboratory was raided and his private papers confiscated by government agents. They couldn't let the public know that a single man in their own backyard had rendered the entire oil and transportation industries obsolete. The coalition has recovered Ed's original notes on magnetic levitation, which are being used to develop the new clean transportation systems for the new Earth. The secrets of the pyramids are no longer hidden. They are being returned to the people. And that's all for today. Thanks a lot, dear friends.